it's one-way fighting. We've had a little hiatus. Me and Ashley have been out slagging about round town, doing what fucking lads do. We've done fuck all, to be honest with you. We've just been working off fingers to the bone to pay bills. No, how you doing, mate? You good?
Yeah, you.
All good. There's a lot of fucking stuff that's gone on since we last spoke.
Hey, pity you're not in your vest, mate.
You know what, Ashley? If you want to have a separate Zoom call later, I can put it on.
I'll tell you what, mate, we'll both wear the vest next time we do this. Both get the vest out.
Yeah, do a whole Canadian at the start and that, and just one-way fight. You know what though? Last time we spoke, I don't necessarily want to go on about this forever because it's been in the fucking news all the time. But funnily enough, McGregor, he just hasn't been out the news. We were doing predictions for the fight, and we went Dustin Poirier. And then I watched a little fucking McGregor highlights and convinced us just because of hype. He was never winning it. I think even then I knew he wasn't going to win it. But fucking hell.
Well, I texted you, didn't I? I think I texted you like on the day. And I was like, right, that's it, mate. I was like, final prediction, Dustin Poirier submission.
Yeah, you did. It didn't last long.
I was going back and forth, and I was like, you know what? No, like make a decision now. And I was like, right, that's it, Dustin Poirier submission. I thought, I don't know, from the end, that first round, I thought he was going to get it, like, but the way. No, Dustin Poirier.
Oh yeah.
I thought he was actually going away. I thought he was going to get like a rear naked choke, but no, the ankle gave way. Yeah, I think you mean, by the way, obviously, I know everyone, it's kind of in the past now, everyone's kind of done these podcasts and these articles about it, I get it. But as you quite rightly said, it's still in the news, isn't it? He's like saying all this stuff against Dustin Poirier and against Khabib as well. So like,
Bisping now, he's supposed to be fighting Bisping now. I think he's pushing another beef with someone else because he needs a startup fight. I think Bisping's too big. I think Bisping's too handy on the feet.
Never happened. No, but
no. Well, Bisping's being back on him, just going nuts.
Yeah, because it started off, didn't it, with Daniel Cormier? Because obviously Daniel Cormier wasn't happy because McGregor tweeted saying COVID good. It was COVID good, Father Evil. Do you know what I'm on about? Because yeah. Obviously, you can't say stuff like that, without kind of riling people up. It's So Daniel Cormier came to Khabib's defense, and then that's how it just kind of all transpired. Because Michael Bisping on his podcast, Believe You and Me, was like, McGregor, you don't want that fight. Like DC would just like pull your limb from limb, and then that prompted McGregor to obviously respond and that's how it started.
Well, Cormier's put on today. I think it was today. It might have been yesterday. By the time this goes out, it might be a day or two. But he's now getting sobriety tests before UFC events. Did you see the video of him when he was drunk?
Who?
Cormier. So Cormier turned up to do like a fucking UFC press conference where he was talking about all the fights. And one of his old wrestling buddies had turned up and they started chugging beers. And Cormier wobbles out. He's not like bladdered, but he goes, I feel like I'm going to vomit. So if I vomit, sorry. He goes, but me and mate have just been chugging beers because I haven't seen him for years. I say, go ahead, lad. I was kind of like, it's kind of funny. You know what I mean?
Was he, what was not wrong with that? Yeah.
But he did a whole like 15, 20 minutes chatting, like fucking half cut. It's kind of funny to watch. But I suppose the UFC is sort of like, it was funny the once,
Don't do it again. Yeah. BC's a professional though, and he McGregor can't fucking say anything. Like the amount of shit that he does. I mean, that's what mate.
He was risky when he fought Khabib.
Yeah.
Was it Khabib or Tyrone? Who was it? He was running up to
Khabib. He was trying to get Khabib to drink. Khabib's a Muslim, so he doesn't drink. So he's trying to rally him up to get him to drink. and he was getting all the press conference people from the newspapers to like drink as well and everything like that. Just getting everyone fucking pissed. But yeah, you can't say anything. Well, what's your opinion then on like McGregor now? Like, you know, kind of where his head's at and maybe like what's next for him?
I'm sort of worried for him now because while Khabib come out and made those comments about Aldo and stuff like that in terms of who he's fighting and whether he's back or not, he made the point about Cerrone. That's his last sort of big win, and Cerrone was on his way out, and it's being shown that he wasn't really the big sort of. He was just a comeback fight, wasn't he? Really, and I feel like he's had Poirier and Khabib losses coming in. It's 2 to Poirier. I mean, the last one was a bit of a damn squib, wasn't it? You know, he broke his foot, but he didn't look like he. While he put up a fight, you don't know how much that foot affected him. All this rumours that John Cavana sort of started that it was an ankle injury prior to the fight. You don't know how much that did affect him.
Yeah.
I just feel like he's fighting at the weight class that he shouldn't be fighting at. I felt like he left featherweight to go prove the world wrong, and he should have stayed there for longer. If he'd have put 5 to 10 fucking title defences or lost the title in 2 or 3 fights and then kept fighting at the top. Look at Max Holloway. Everyone loves him. Lost the title at featherweight. Keeps fighting at the top end of featherweight. If he went up and fought at lightweight or even welterweight, everyone would be like, yeah, but it's not his natural class. But he's just gone straight from beating Aldo to doing all the extra stuff straight away. I feel like he's just jumped ship too quick. Everyone had, if he'd just put a few title defences together, there'd be no real questions to it. I mean, he could have done the Eddie Alvarez fight, won that, just said, look, I'm going back to featherweight for a while, I'm going to vacate the belt, I just wanted to hold it. Like the way GSP come back for Bisping and, you know, I'll just leave that and stuff, you know. Just vacate it. You don't need to have the 2 belts and, you know, fight at both weights. I think he should have stayed at feather.
Yeah. So I think with Dustin Poirier, I'll be honest, from what I got from that second fight was, I just think Dustin Poirier is a better fighter. I just think he just has his number now. He's just evolved. So, like, he's not the same guy as what McGregor fought. And the weight class, I do think that definitely made a difference. Fighting Dustin Poirier at lightweight, which is clearly Dustin Poirier's best like weight, in my opinion. So I just think so I thought I just think from that second fight, Dustin Poirier, he's just clearly a better fighter. I feel like he just has his number now. In regards to the weight classes, I don't know. Like, clearly at featherweight, he was unbelievable. He was just starching people. But it was the issues about he never missed weight, but he always struggled to make the weight, didn't he? Always looked dead, like, drawn out. So I don't know. I don't know if he can make that weight, can he? I know he's made it before, but I don't know.
I feel like he's really big at feather. By the time he's fighting, he's really big. I feel like he carries a lot more power at feather. I feel like the second 2 Poirier fights, he wasn't as active. So I do agree. Poirier at the minute seems like a better fighter, more well-rounded. But I just feel like I said, if he just stayed at featherweight and just carried on defending that title on a regular basis, I think we'd be looking at a different fucking prospect now if he did step up to lightweight. I feel like he's gone about it. It's like the Ronda Rousey situation. The fame's just gone to his head and it's taken away what he could have been.
Yeah, I think definitely with the money situation as well, like to put your body through that kind of like, because obviously this is when he was trying to get that featherweight belt, you know, okay, he was getting good paychecks, but he had like a goal in mind. His goal in mind was to get that belt. So he was putting himself through all that kind of that, you know, losing, you know, cutting weight, cutting a lot of weight, putting through all that pain to get to that belt. Got the belt, moved up, and I do feel like he moved up to lightweight, and obviously felt really good. But do you ever notice how he talks about going to welterweight? mate, he loves it. He absolutely loves welterweight. He's been calling out.
He's going to get fucking starched.
Yeah, 100%.
And what you were just saying there, Sugar Ray Leonard said it the best when he ended his career. I think it was his second fight against Hagler, his last fight. And he was getting on, Sugar Ray Leonard, but he said it's hard to go out running and cut weight when you wake up in silk pajamas.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. To be fair, yeah, it's exactly that type of, that mentality. I just don't think he can put himself to make that featherweight. Yeah. And there is a lot of exciting fights there, don't get me wrong, but I do feel like when he talks about welterweight, like, and how he felt, he says he felt amazing because he didn't have to cut any weight. He didn't have to worry. He could just lead a normal life, you know. But yeah, I don't believe that he should be going to welterweight. Him versus Usman, mate, would just be awful. I can't see him in that fight at all.
Look, I love McGregor, and I broke my rule when I watched that highlight video and said McGregor, because all the way up to it I was saying Dustin Poirier, and then that day I just thought, fuck it, you know what, you know, it's a 50-50, go with it, because it wasn't a 50-50, it was 75-25, and I just thought, but Usman is just, that's like, what if someone said to you, what UFC fighter would you want to be right now? It's him or Ngannou. I wouldn't choose Izzy. Choose him or Ngannou, because they're the two top prospects to be. And I'd choose him over Ngannou because Ngannou's just got the punching power. Usman's just complete. He's complete. Man, he's like the fucking Nigerian GSP.
Yeah, he's the guy right now. So far as McGregor, like, I think maybe going for the Diaz fight then, because I don't think. Well,
I think that's daft though. I think that's daft because you know what, Diaz will go through a war, and the thing McGregor needs is a quick knockout. I think.
Who's that going to be against then? Like, because who is there now, really?
He needs to build up 2 or 3 fights. He needs to just say to them, just look, I know I'm getting big money coming in, but I need a few tune-up fights. Pick me a couple of like 4th and 5th. But at lightweight, 4th and 5th is fucking crazy. That's like first in middleweight. You know what I mean?
I know McGregor was looking at. So sorry, not McGregor. Oh no, it was McGregor as well. So the thing that's going to be Dustin Poirier versus Charles Oliveira, and then I think the favourite in that one probably is Dustin Poirier. You know, so people are saying that if that happens, people think McGregor are just going to walk back in and just fight for the belt, which is pretty ridiculous. Like, but yeah, if that situation was to happen, I don't think Dana White or anything will actually, like, you know, dispute it. I think they'd be like, yeah, that's fine. It's going to make money, absolutely.
I wouldn't, because if I was Dana White, I'd be and he looks a bit disenfranchised with McGregor lately. Did you see the build-up? His build-up didn't come across with the same sort of flair and panache that he used to have. It was very sort of McGregor's was very venomous and sort of, I'm going to kill you and stuff like this.
Yeah, I didn't believe it.
Didn't have the same flair that he used to have. I'm not sure he believes his own hype anymore.
Definitely not. I thought it was all good. I thought the press conferences were just, I was watching him and I was cringing. And normally when you watch McGregor, the old McGregor, like, you're laughing, you're excited, you're like, oh mate, like, he's boss. I was watching this one, I was cringing. I was just like, oh mate, and you clearly don't believe it. And as well, how can he believe it himself when you just got knocked out by him? Dustin Poirier just knocked you out. So how can you be? How can you have this aura of confidence? Like, you know.
You know what though? You know what? I've never been knocked out. I've been stopped through a technical stoppage where I got my rib broke, and it was only a matter of time before I was knocked out. So I'll accept that as a fucking KO. I was against the cage, unable to breathe, getting punched in the fucking head. So, you know, but that being said, if I'd have healed up a week later, I'd have walked back in the cage with the next person. You always have your own self-belief. I've gone in and sparred with people who tanked me 2-3 weeks in a row, and then I've gone in and sparred with them 4 or 5 weeks in a row and tanked them. And I think it's just like some days you can mark someone's card and some days you can't. So I can understand how he's still confident that he'll go in and do it. He's beaten before. And I think maybe Poirier just had his number this time because Poirier was like, I'm not falling for it anymore. I've beat you now. So that whole getting in my mind, it's not there. And I think for McGregor, it's not his be-all and end-all. He's got such great skill and power, but it's a large majority of his game, isn't it?
See, I think that's situational, though, from what you were saying there. Like, listen, everyone's different. And, like, there's been so many situations where, like, yeah, you'll lose the first one, you'll have a rematch, and, yeah, the other guy will win. There's been so many examples of it.
Like Steve ADC.
Yeah. Like, I'll be honest. Kane
DeSantos.
So Kane versus the Santos, that's my always prime example. It's my go-to example. But I actually love that area, no I do. But the difference is with that, Kane believed it. Kane actually believed it, and you believed him. Whereas McGregor destroyed them, mate, because he truly believed in himself. Whereas
you
McGregor,
remember Santos' face?
Yeah.
He looked like a fucking King Eddie potato. Honestly,
mate, that's like my favorite. I'd probably say that's my favorite UFC fight, just because of the history of it. But with McGregor, you watch the press conference, you watch the build up. I just didn't believe him, mate. Like, I thought Dustin Poirier he had an answer for everything. He was clearly getting under McGregor's skin. McGregor couldn't really say anything, and when you can't say something about someone, you get personal. Because so if I was trying to offend you and I was absolutely failing miserably, and you were just coming off with these, and you were just coming back with these, witty little one-liners, and I was literally like, fucking hell, like Neil's just absolutely having me off. As a human, I just think you just revert to I'm just gonna say personal stuff then.
Your mum's a slag type stuff, just like your birds clicked to me DMs, just the example, innit?
That's what I'm saying. I just feel like McGregor, I was getting that vibe. You're saying stuff about Dustin Poirier's wife and all that. You know what I mean? Because he's got nothing else to say because he lost his last fight, and I just thought Dustin Poirier was just in his head. So I don't know, but I don't really know where he goes next for me. But I do think, he needs to fucking reset himself, definitely.
Yeah. Well, let's move on from the big man, and let's, what I want to talk about. It's next week, isn't it? Giga Chikadze versus Edson Barboza. I'm actually quite.
He's your favourite guy, isn't he? You absolutely love him, you.
Mate, it's not that I love him. I'd watched him before UFC. He's about 6 fights into UFC now. Is he 5 fights?
I think so, yeah. Undefeated.
Cub Swanson being the biggest sort of name that he's fought. And to be fair, I think his first 2 were split decisions, then 2 unanimous, and then he's got the 2 KOs. Simmons, was it, and Cub.
Yeah.
But mate, he's such a fucking tank with that fucking liver kick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, and you know why? Right, I'm worried because Edson Barboza is such an animal, and what he did to Burgos, who fucking hell, I just watched that fight again today just for a bit of relive, what Edson Barboza's still able to do and what he's still, and keep in mind he fought that at featherweight, which is dropping down, so we've got an actual reality of what Edson Barboza is going to be like at Giga Chikadze's weight, and that's scary.
I think it's definitely going to be fight tonight, 100%.
One thing I did notice when we watched it today, Shane Burgos, now not the kick so much, he landed a few front teeps, but he landed his leading body hook right into Edson Barboza's liver area about 5 times. And when I first started watching the fight, Barboza has that tight elbows into the body, and I thought that might be quite hard for Giga to land that liver kick because he's going to hit elbow a lot and stuff like that. But Burgos was throwing about 3 or 4 in the first 2 rounds straight through punches through his left body shovel hook. So I think there is that opportunity for it to be exposed there.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a tough fight because Giga Chikadze is quite big at featherweight as well. He's not. I mean, Edson Barboza I think is probably going to be a bit bigger, but he's also a bit older.
Yeah, I see this. To be honest, I see this a bit of a back and forth one. To be honest, but I think it's definitely going to be fight of the night. Definitely. Like I love watching Edson Barboza, mate. Like when he fought Dan Hooker. Like I'm sure he was like the underdog. Well, I thought he was going to lose against Dan Hooker, like definitely, because Dan Hooker was getting some good momentum, and he goes out there and he demolishes him.
He's mad though, Edson Barboza. I looked at his record before. Yeah, I screenshotted it so I didn't have to go searching for it. This is madness. Like when you look at Edson Barboza, right? He's just. Yeah, sorry, mate. I'm bringing it up as I'm speaking to you. He's beaten so many good people. Yeah. He's like 22-9. But
his last two fights, so he had a split decision loss against was it Rob Hinge?
Dan Ige got Ige. Paul Felder, Justin Gaethje, 3 losses back to back. And then Dan Hooker obviously won. Kevin Lee and Khabib. Khabib's obvious. But he beat Beneil Dariush, Melendez, Burgos, Amakani. So, I mean, that's like his last sort of 10 fights. He's 22 wins and 9.
And he's not good. So his last 2 wins against that how do you say his name? Amakani. Yeah, he's the guy. He beat Fishy, submitted Fishy. He's a good fighter.
Yeah, he's good. He's good, lad. He's good.
But yeah, Edson.
Did he fight Pimblett as well?
No, didn't fight Pimblett. No. No, I've seen him. He was in the Liverpool. He was in UFC Liverpool against is it Jason Knight? I think he fought Jason Knight.
Yeah.
In UFC Liverpool, but he's good in though. But yeah, Edson Barboza dominated him, and then obviously you got the Shane Burgos. Like he's looking better. And you know that Dan is it Dan Ing? Dan
Ige, is it? I've always said Ige, but I think it's pronounced Ige when I watch it. I'm usually drunk. Later.
Like I do actually remember that fight. It was a close fight, you know. I actually think I had Edson Barboza winning that. So he's been on these close fights, like, you know.
Yeah, but it's one of those things. Never let it go to the ref. You know. And
yeah, but the fact is, though, what I'm saying is, it was competitive. Like, we ain't getting dominated, and that was against the guy who's like still in the mix. Like, I think Uzi, I think he lost his last fight, but I can't remember who he lost it to be honest.
Yeah, it was only about a month ago he was on.
Yeah.
I remember it.
But yeah. But that's what I'm saying, like Edson Barboza is like, he's there. So for your guy, that, is it Giga?
Giga.
Yeah, for him, it's going to be a good test, you know.
You know what, mate? It's his biggest test, I think, of all. Even through his glory kickboxing career and stuff like that. The thing is, though, they've both got explosive kicks and crazy. I mean, you've got the wheel kick that you see Edson Barboza use all the time. His spinning back kick to the stomach. Giga threw one. I think it was one of his decision fights where he did this like fucking Eddie Guerrero fucking, what do they call it? The fucking Brazilian martial arts capoeira. He just sort of like fucking. I don't know what the fuck you call it. I've trained martial arts for fucking years. His legs just fucking flew over the back of his head, and he just tried to fucking clobber him with his fucking ankle. Mate, he's got some fucking crazy knees. I don't think his hands are as explosive. I've seen him stop people or ground and pound people, and he throws some decent elbows in the ground and pound. I'm not swayed one way or the other though, because Edson Barboza is such a good pedigree, but it's just I feel like with Edson Barboza, like you say, I think he's like 13-2 Giga on his MMA record. Like he's only got like 1 submission, he's got like 8 knockouts and then the rest of the decision, but he's more proficient in finishing. I think with Edson Barboza, if he doesn't get that first round or two finishing yet, it can become a bit stagnant. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good little standing man though, wouldn't it? I think that's actually a perfect fight for like a main event, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I'd love to see that fight. Love to.
The fight card's a bit weak though. I can't actually remember who else is on it. Can you? That fight card.
I looked through it before. There's a few fights. I don't know if it's that card or the Darren Till one that Sam Alvey's fighting on it, but again, couldn't even remember who he was fighting.
I think Sam Alvey's the one next week. He's the main event on the prelims, isn't he? Does that make sense? Like
is
main
he?
Event in the prelim.
Yeah. The headline in the prelim, like
yeah. But the week after, that's your big one. That's the one that I'm mostly looking forward to. Like
Till and Brunson.
But that fight card you've got, it's like Molly McCann's on it. Obviously, Paddy's making his debut. Like I know there's a few. Oh no, Alexander Gustafsson was meant to be fighting Paul Craig from Scotland. But Alexander got injured, so that fight's been pulled.
Is he not got a replacement?
No, there's no replacement. The fight's just it's going to be rescheduled for like another card. Shit, I know, shit, that isn't it.
He did that fucking arm break thing where he just dislocated his fucking arm in the last fight, Craig, didn't he?
Oh yeah, Paul Craig's good. Like
I've seen him look a bit sort of shit though. I've seen about 2 or 3 of his fights where I've just been like bored, and he doesn't look like he's pressing it as much. And then I've seen 2 or 3 fights where I'm like, wow, why wasn't this guy here when I last watched him? So I feel like unless he's just picked up his pace now, because the more recent fights that I've watched where I've thought he looks like that, unless he's just picked it up now and he's just found his pace.
Well, I think so.
It depends what day it is, whether he turns up.
Yeah. Well, he had the back and forth with Shogun, my favourite fighter. And obviously, he won them. But in his last fight, though, he literally pulled guard and fucking cranked it. Like, he looked good, like, he was looking for the finish. I think definitely, like, that was going to be one to watch. That obviously, Alexander Gustafsson's just a massive name, and like, watching him fight is just a privilege, you know?
I'd worry about him fighting Gustafsson, like, he's just dangerous as fuck. You seen that picture with him, met Gustafsson?
No.
Oh my God, mate! Right, so I'm standing on off the curb, and he's standing. So basically, he's walking down Puerto Rico Beach, and me mate, your eyes on the front of the restaurant. He goes, Neill, you watch UFC? You know who Alexander Gustafsson is? I went, yeah, dude. Yeah, he's just fought John Jones for the second time. Like, he's the second baddest man on the fucking planet, lightweight, light heavyweight. He's like, he's getting a taxi down there. So I'm like that. I'm walking my oldest Kagan, and I just sort of picked him up, put him over my shoulder, like that. I go, Alexander! And I get this fucking picture with him. I don't want to fucking go scrolling through all my fucking pictures.
Send it to me after this, though.
I will do, yeah. I'll send it, yeah. But like, I'm trying to get a picture with him, and I'm stood on the road, and he's stood on the curb, and everyone keeps going, how big is he? And I'm like, he was tall. I mean, he must be about 6'5". 6'6", because I'm 6'3". I'm 6'3". I
was gonna say,
but he's like that. He's like that. He looks fucking dwarf, but I am standing off the curb. But either way, the best bit of it was I put it up on fucking Facebook because the baby, I kept saying to him, face the camera, you're getting in the picture with the second baddest man. Well, I didn't say the second baddest on the planet because I'd have been fucking dropped. But I said to him, I said, like, face the camera, and he just kept going like that. So there's a back of my kid's head, me going like this, fucking Alexander Gustafsson, like, trying to look if his taxi's still there or not.
That's boss, that, though. Fair play. Like, Alexander Gustafsson, mate, he's boss. But that fight card there.
So we're recording again. We had a little child intervention there. Just as we finished talking about Gustafsson, my kid walked in. No, so Paddy the Baddie. Yeah,
that's just a bit. So that fight card next week. It was meant to be in London, but I'm guessing due to COVID, they obviously had to pull it, and it's in Vegas. But it is a bit of a British card, to be honest. You've got obviously a headline by Darren Till. You got Meatball Molly on it, and obviously Paddy the Baddie making his debut. It's a massive fight for Paddy. To be honest, I remember now it was Paddy. So big fight for Paddy. Thing is that this one it's massively important because this is his debut. So this is where the people that obviously have never watched them before, it's their chance of seeing them, the American crowd. And like he's quite confident. Did you listen to him on the Michael Bisping podcast? Believe you me, confident, mate. Like
He's always confident, isn't he? Always.
Yeah. But it's like I don't know. It's like a bit of a different confidence. It's like when he's chatting to Bisping and stuff. Like they clearly knew who he was. But Bisping was like, I've never actually spoken to you before. Just want to make it clear. He was like, I've never actually spoken to him before. So it was kind of like Bisping was. I think Bisping did quite well, to be honest. Like introducing him to everyone. If that makes sense. Giving everyone the backstory and everything like that. Just I don't know. It was the way he led them into it. I thought like he was just quite fair and stuff like that. But yeah, I just think like with Paddy, like the guy he's fighting, I don't know too much about him.
Well, I think
is he 1-2 in the UFC, as in 1 win, 2 losses?
Yeah, but the second, the last fight against Faraz Zayam, he looks aggressive as fuck, and he goes steaming in. And I was thinking, that suits Paddy. Because he'll just shoot. He'll take his leg, take him down. Paddy's a good inch or two taller. But the guy's stocky as fuck. So do you remember when Paddy was like 22 and he lost that first go for the Cage Warriors title?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like that this time. Yeah. Because the guy looks like him, set like him, and fights like him. But Paddy was obviously 22. He's about 26 now. So he's 4 years on with more experience, he's an adult now. I mean, say what you want about a 22-year-old, they're not an adult. 24, 25, you start to become a proper adult in my eyes, especially when it comes to combat sports. So I feel like Paddy should run through him, but he's aggressive and he's dangerous still.
I do feel like the aggressive style plays into Paddy. Like you look people coming in, them flipping them over. Do you know what I mean? And then obviously submitting them, that's like his thing. So I do feel like if that happens, that's a perfect scenario for him, that will put him because he's got everything else. Like everyone loves him. Like Ariel Helwani fucking loves him. Loves having him on his show and everything.
He's got two problems though, mate. He's got two problems. The guy is 1-2. So it is all or nothing fight. If he loses this 1-2 in the UFC, he's going to be 1-3. He's out.
Yeah.
This guy's going to go out to literally fucking kill Paddy. The other thing is, he's been talking shit about Conor, Khabib, fucking getting involved in all these other things. Maybe he should wait until he gets his first win under his belt before he starts doing that. I know Conor did it and stuff like that, but I've been looking at some of the comments on some of the social media, and he's not coming across the same way Conor did. Because Conor was the base. He's just like... He's what?
Is this like, so, like an interview, he's kind of bringing... So, I'm not like...
He's coming up, like Bloody Elbow says he said this, that and the other, and whether people are reading the articles or not, people are just... A lot of, he looks like a shit beetle and stuff like that. People just aren't taking to him. I mean, the forums are always full of shitheads.
I think it's clickbait at those, because on the Mike Bisping podcast, Mike Bisping, he literally asked him, he was like, we're going to play this game, right? I'll say a fighter's name, and then you tell us what you think about him, like if you'll beat him in that. And he said, he brought up Conor McGregor, and Paddy was like, I'll absolutely smoke him. He's like, I said this before and I'll say it again. I'll go out there and I'll take him down and submit him. It'll be easy. He was like, I like McGregor. I've got nothing against him, but like that's what I think. I know on another interview he brought up Masvidal. He said he used to like Masvidal, but doesn't like him anymore because of the whole Jake Paul thing. I don't know. I don't think
Nadal's just come out and said Tyrone's going to spark Jake Paul. I think that was just purely on the Ben Askren side of it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Separate thing, but
yeah. I don't think what Paddy said was bad. It's just an opinion. You got to be opinionated, haven't you? I suppose.
You might be right. It might be clickbait, but the problem is, I'm not saying. I mean, I love Paddy. I love him.
Yeah.
I'd happily watch him fight because he's a good fighter and entertaining to watch. I feel like that lightweight division is going to be the toughest. He couldn't have picked a harder division.
I agree. No, I agree.
No, and that's not to take away that he's not top class. It's just I feel like the top 5 is going to be hard to break for him. But then again, you never know. He might blood himself and get a few tough fighters, and then just find that he's able to push through them.
Yeah, you're right. I actually agree. I think top 15, mate. I think top 15. To be honest, like forget top 5. I think top 15 is going to be difficult. The only thing that I can say is I think with this fight, his first fight in the UFC, I think the UFC have been quite fair to give him someone like this who's coming off a loss and obviously kind of needs that win. I think with the weight class,
they recognise what he is. They recognise what he is.
Yeah.
The Americans love to hate the English, and if he goes and puts together a couple of fights, Darren Till, McGregor, Bisping, and McGregor's Irish, but anyone from the UK, they've got their UK show every time, and they recognise what he is. He's got I love Paddy, but he's got a big fucking mouth. You know, whether he's being genuine or not, the way he says stuff, he's a typical Scouser. He says it, and he doesn't, fucking mince his words. He just says what the fuck he thinks, and you just have to deal with that the same way Darren Till does, same way Bisping did. You know what I mean? And I think they recognise he can either fail and he gets us a few fucking shows, or he can do well, or he can sort of do middle of the road. But either way, we've got a fighter to throw on as second headline.
What I was going to say was, though, just before, I was going to say that sometimes the UFC, they don't really kind of play it fair. So a good example is Chris Fishgold. His first UFC fight was against Calvin Guitar.
Yeah.
His first UFC fight. It's like, fucking hell, mate. Like, I thought he did quite well.
Fishy's awesome. Great fighter. Unbelievable fighter. But did he have the same personality and following that Paddy Pimblett does?
Not at all.
So,
not at all, no.
Going to protect him in the same way?
Yeah, to be fair, that is actually a fair point. Well, listen, I'm glad the UFC have done that, because I do think for this first fight, I think this is perfect, to be honest.
It may just be they've learned from their mistake as well.
Yeah, but I was going to say something then, about the weight class.
Yeah.
Obviously, fighting the lightweight. So, there's no way he can fight featherweight again. Like, he opened up, didn't he, about, like, his experiences. Like, he literally said it on one of the podcasts. He almost died making the weight. Like, he was so close to death. So,
was
like,
that he fucking threw up blood in the cage?
Yeah, that was the bad weight cut. When he fought, was it Julian Erosa? When he fought.
Yeah,
Julian
it was.
Erosa.
Yeah. He just he was at the post-fight interview and just started spewing blood. I remember
We told him
at the time. Thinking,
yeah.
Is he gonna die? What the fuck?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So there's no way that the guy's gonna make featherweight again. It's just lightweight for him now. And I feel like it's the best weight class for him anyway. Like, he looks.
Oh, he looks bigger and better. He looks bigger and better.
Yeah. Obviously, only time with it. I don't know who Molly's fighting. I did have a look at the girl's record, but I can't remember her name. I think she's coming off a loss. Maybe the other girl that she's fighting. I think.
I like Molly. Molly's dead down to earth. Says it as it is. She's good.
Yeah, she is. But I'm not the girl that she's fighting. I don't know too much about it. I think she's coming off a loss. So again, hopefully that's a good fight for her, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think Darren Till with this one. I'm pretty confident in Darren Till on this one. I think so. Normally, his fight against Robert Whittaker kind of changed my opinion a little bit. Not that I was fucking saying he was shit and all that, but I just didn't believe that Darren Till was as good as what people in Liverpool that obviously know him and stuff would obviously say, because there's an element of being biased. But
you know what?
From that fight with Robert Whittaker, I'll be honest with you, mate. I was like, you know what? He's fucking good there, because that whole fight was competitive. He was not getting dominated in that fight. And Robert Whittaker, mate, apart from it,
unbelievable.
And he's the guy just outside from Israel Adesanya in that division, mate. He's the #1 contender. So to go 5 rounds with him, to look good doing it, and to be competitive, like, mate, Darren Till's fucking good, mate. You can't deny it.
Mate,
so I think
he's one of the top fighters in the middleweight in the world. But my only concern, it's not anything to do with his capabilities. He was meant to fight Vettori, wasn't he? And how did he injure himself? His collarbone. And you go against Darren Brunson, who's a lot of strength, a lot of wrestler. Sorry, Derek Brunson, a lot of strength, a lot of wrestling. And how much strength is he been able to build up? It's not that long ago the Vettori fight got cancelled. How much strength has he built back up? Because that's your pectoral, that's your shoulder, that's your traps in your back, anything that comes in this way. So, you know, that's a lot of strength lost on whichever collarbone it is. He's had to rebuild strength as well as do his camp for training skills-wise and punching. And how much is it taken off his punch? Because when you're punching, it's your pectoral does a lot of the squeezing to pull your arm out. I'm just worried the clavicle is a bad thing to break.
Yeah. I suppose, like, only time will tell. Obviously, he's been training. I know we would have had to get medical clearance for it as well. So
you've got medical clearance, but what I'm saying is, what has it been? Maybe 4 to 6 months?
I think something like that. Yeah, I can't remember. Might be longer. No, I think it's been longer.
Mate, how much strength did he build up in that period? I don't know. I mean, how much strength did it take away? To be fair, I just feel like Brunson's a big fucking dude at that weight. I feel like he wants to try and take him out with fucking stand up. He doesn't want to get clinched against the wall, the cage wall with him, because as soon as he starts to take him, if it gets to the ground and he's having to try and hold and control him, I think Brunson's gonna fucking do some damage.
So so obviously, so that's Darren. So what I was saying with Derek Brunson, like, the guy's building momentum, mate. Like, he's in his last few fights, mate. He's looked good. He's looked calm, hasn't he? Like, there was a time where he got quite a good speed going. He was knocking people out, knocking Neill to the cheat about and all that. But then he was getting too aggressive, and I feel like now he's kind of like pulled it back a bit.
Like Gaethje did against Tony Ferguson.
No, it is.
It's composure, isn't it?
Yeah. So, you know what, mate? Yeah, like, he definitely causes a few problems for Darren. But when I imagine the fight, how it plays out, I don't know why, but I do just envision Darren Till.
Fingers crossed, yeah.
I actually think he'll finish Derek Brunson. I'm going to say it. I think he'll KO him. I could just imagine him catching him in. And
as much as I'm saying about the strength factor, I'm only saying that just to...
No, I get it.
Where you're saying you feel like Darren's going to win, that's my concern with Darren. I think, you know, Darren's high-level sort of tie-in kickboxing, you know, with Derek shooting a lot and stuff like that, then you say he'll get KO. As long as he keeps that distance, or when he's shooting, he's using his knees and he's trying to catch him with some low blows in terms of the punches and stuff, maybe he will catch him. But just keeping him standing up, I think, is the way forward on that. I don't think he wants to try and meet strength to strength at any point.
So I think so Derek Brunson in his last few fights has definitely relied heavily on the wrestling, definitely, and that is a big aspect. But then on the flip side of Darren Till, he's actually really good at defending the takedown.
Yeah, he's got good takedown defense. Yeah,
he's really good, isn't he? Like, yeah. So I don't know. I just think, like, if he puts it all together, there's no reason why Darren Till can lose this. I said, like, my opinions changed massively from that Robert Whittaker fight. Like, it's amazing. I think even within a loss, you can still see, like, a fighter can actually be looked better in your eyes. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, it does. Yeah.
So when he fought Calvin Gastelum and it was a win, I wasn't really that impressed, to be honest.
Yeah, it was close. It's like the Wonder Boy fight as well was a bit of a chess match.
Yeah, the Wonder Boy one's a weird. As I said, like, it's a weird one, that, because I never watched it on the TV. I watched it live, so to me it was dead exciting. But I know you mean when I watched it back, I was like, this is fucking boring. I was like, I don't understand, how is everyone cheering at this? I was like, what the fuck? But like, when you're there, it's like, it's mad. But that fight wasn't the most exciting, like, until the 5th round. But yeah, I do feel like with this fight, I think it's a perfect matchup, and I think I think, Darren Till catches him as he comes in, using the old karate.
Karate,
the old ones. I do see, I see it. I want
yeah,
to.
no, you know what?
Comes in.
I'm just not as confident as you.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's got good takedown
defense
and stuff like that.
I could be eating my words here, mate. I could, Darren Woodley can come out and just fucking flatline him.
But he's out of Cabon, mate, and Cabon have got a great wrestling team there. He'll be out in Wigan, working with Mike Grundy and stuff like that. And
yeah,
they've got great wrestling there, so he will have top-notch takedown defense working for Derek Brunson. I'm assuming his strength will have been attended to, because you're not going to leave an injury unattended to. It's just quick from the Vittori fight, I felt. I thought he was going to be out for longer.
No, I'll be honest. Like, for me, I don't really know. Like, the collarbone. I've never really.
Well, if you put it this way, if he's had anything from an 8-week fight camp, and let's say it's 4 to 6 months, 8 weeks of that he's been training. So it's only been about 2 to 3 months where he's been out resting.
Yeah.
So
maybe you never know.
Mightn't be that bad. It's got a knit. I assume the doctors have said it's knitted and it's solid, it's calcified. And then he's got 8 weeks to build strength, get his tech down, get a game plan, get back to speed, because he's had 2 to 3 months resting. So it's a lot to get done in an 8-week fight camp.
Yeah.
That's my worry. That's my worry.
That's valid, like, to be fair.
Darren Till's so eager to fight, so I could just imagine him just saying, I'm fighting, that's it. And not thinking about the consequence to it, that maybe just taking another month or two.
Yeah. You never know, do you? Like, you never know. Fingers crossed it doesn't affect him. Like, I know what you mean, mate. It could potentially.
Yeah, wait there 1 second, Ashley. Go on.
It was Darren Till.
So we're recording again. This fucking podcast, the first one back. So some fucking knobheads just tried to fucking knock and run the door, and the fucking baby started crying. And I've just gone out and tried to have it with the fucking neighbours. So I had to pause it as it went out. But I'll leave whatever's on. I swore a bit, didn't I?
You did, mate. You did too, fair. Like, you seen the Papa Neill come out, everyone?
I can't stand it, man. People think they're fucking funny in these complexes and that. They walk past and they fucking just start banging on your fucking door thinking they're fucking clever. No, when my kid's crying.
Not on, mate. Not on.
No. We were talking about Paddy, but fuck that. The only thing I wanted to say before we go, because I think we need to wrap it up now anyway, is I was going to put a thing on where I reviewed Tyrone Woodley and Jake Paul.
Oh, yeah.
They did. Did you see the standoff? I didn't put it on in the end because it just felt like I was just moaning at Jake Paul all the time. And I don't want to be one of these people who keep putting stuff on about him. Like I'm trying to get hits or something like that, because I'm not. It's a big thing at the minute. I mean,
it's this weekend, isn't it? Is it this weekend? Yeah.
This weekend.
I think it might be this weekend, you know, mate?
28th
of August.
If Tyrone Woodley loses, then I'm convinced everyone's took a dive.
Yeah.
Tyrone Woodley can't lose to him.
Like, yeah, 100%, mate. Like, 100% can't lose to him. Like, don't get me wrong, mate. Jake Paul, like, for the level that he's fighting at, like, he's clearly good at his level, if that makes sense. But Tyrone Woodley's just a different guy, mate. Dana White can saying another saying Woodley still got power.
That guy's a killer. He's a fucking killer, mate. And this fight, he was still giving it as good as he got. He was just fighting a high-level UFC fucking guy. And I just don't see the Jake Paul's going to be able to deal with that. But I don't know. I've said it before. I don't want to say it again.
No, I'll be honest. I think I'm pretty confident in Tyrone, to be honest. Like, it's not Ben Askren. It's like, it's not a guy who can't box. Do you know what I mean? Like, when we was on about Ben Askren, it was literally like, it's not gonna one punch KO. Hopefully he'll tire him.
I've never seen Tyrone box. I've seen him go forward. I mean, when he did Robbie Lawler and stuff like that, bang, bang, big loop and punches. But then again, Jake Paul's done a little bit of boxing. nothing that really suggests to me that he's going to like fucking be doing anything crazy and tactical. You know what I mean? Tyrone should just be landing. There'll be bigger gloves, but they should only be about 6 to 8.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one, that, to be honest. That Tommy Fury's on that fight card as well, isn't he? I don't know who he's fighting now.
Yeah.
Do you know who he's fighting? No.
No, Tommy doesn't really interest me, to be honest with you. I'm more interested in watching Wilder, fucking Tyson. Tommy really has to start fighting at a higher level, and he's only about 8 fights in or something, and he's fought nobodies, which is, to be fair, how normal boxers do it. And while Jake Paul fought people who weren't even boxers, he's done Ben Askren now, so...
Big name, innit? Yeah, exactly.
If the fucking hell freezes over and he does Tyrone Fury...
Mate, I
love the fact he's got 3 YouTubers on his list. He put a list up. 3 YouTubers: Ben Askren, Tyrone Woodley, Canelo. Like,
yeah, I've seen that.
That's the order of, I'll just do everything. That's it.
I think Mayweather's on there. Mayweather's on there as well, isn't he?
Well, that's his brother, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, but he wants to fight Mayweather as well, Jake Paul.
I'm not surprised after seeing the last fight. It was a bit of a joke.
Yeah, it was.
I think that was more on Mayweather than it was Neill still, wasn't it?
Yeah. But I think Tyrone Woodley definitely for that one. I think it is this weekend. I think 28th of August.
How do you think it's going to go down, though? Where I'm saying, like, he mightn't get bought to be fucking dropped. Look at Mayweather. That went on for too long, and he didn't really do anything. Do you think maybe this is my prediction? Jake Paul and Tyrone are going to go the distance, and it's going to go split decision.
To who? Split decision to who?
To Tyrone. But
and have the match,
Jake Paul's going to say, well, it's not really a loss, is it? I went the distance with Tyrone Woodley, 8 rounds, who's an ex-UFC fucking welterweight champion with about 5 or 6 defences. I feel like a couple of these fights, Tommy Fury's and stuff like that, and people will still buy, but he's never going to convince Tyrone to just fucking dive and fucking get chinned. I feel like if that happens, then I've just predicted.
Yeah.
Tyrone should really...
You know, I mean, if he beats Tyrone Woodley and then faces fucking, I don't know, Tommy Fury, beats him, mate, the guy's fucking undefeated and he's fighting big names and fucking winning them all. You know what I mean? Like, fair play to him. Like, but I don't think he'll beat Woodley. I think Woodley KOs him, to be honest. I do. I think he stops him.
Yeah. Well, common sense, mate. Common sense. But, yeah, I think you're right anyway, Ash. I think this is all the time we got for this week. I think for the first, because we've been back for the first time in a month, we're going to do it this week, then give next week off, and then the week after, and then we're going to come back and we'll go back to weekly in about 2 weeks' time, just because we want to get a few sort of results in and stuff like that, and we want to get a few predictions. I don't think the fight cards over the next few weeks are like as amazing as they could be. I think we break it September, October.
Yeah, the only fight I said, this fight card with your guy versus Barboza, that fight card doesn't really grip me, but the meant to be London one, them 3 fights on it, that should be good, that one, like.
Yeah. I've got lined up as well a couple of fighters, a couple are actually fighting in like the next week or two. 1 or 2 are maybes, but I've got a few people who are going to be coming on as guests. Like the last one we did with the Rob Beach one, it was good. But we're going to have a few fighters coming back on as well. So there's going to be separate ones as well as me and Ashley coming up in the coming weeks. So keep your eyes peeled. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, hit the notifications. And yeah, enjoy your fucking week, guys.
See you all later.
Enjoy.